It's a great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, haters, addicts, and fanatics out there? This is Larry Patterson coming to you for GT365's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. It's the Game Time Sports Network. And we got a little pre-show going on before the game kicks off. New York Giants facing off against the Washington football team tonight. Both teams coming off losses on Sunday. The Giants lost to Denver 27-13. The Washington football team and lost to the Chargers 20-16 in a close fashion. The Denver and the Giants game was pretty close up until like late third quarter. Going through the fourth quarter, Denver just ran away with it. In that game, Daniel Jones was 22 of 37, 267 yards. He got sacked twice. He threw one touchdown pass, completed 59% of his passes, 6 carries, 27 yards. Had a touchdown with the gain up the middle. Fun fact about Daniel Jones, he's 4-0 versus Washington, and he's 4-19 versus other teams. So that's a little fun fact. I still think Washington comes away with the win tonight. But before all that, in the past game for the Giants, offensively, they are ranked 18th as of today. Putting up 254 yards. Defensively, they're ranked 16th, giving up 255 yards through the air. In the run, they are ranked 28th, giving up 60. Well, they put up 60 yards a game on the offensive side of the ball. They put up 60 yards in that game. Defensively, they ranked 29th, giving up 165 yards. So Denver kind of ran on them late in the game. On third downs, offensively, this team was 6 for 12. That's ranked 8th in the league. And on defense, they are ranked 22nd on third downs, giving up 7 of 15 on third downs. In the red zone, ranked 24th, one of 3 opportunities. And in defensively, they are ranked 10th. 2 of 5 opportunities. So that's pretty decent. I still think this defense is still pretty good, and they were playing pretty stout too. Saquon Barkley only 26 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. He had 3 targets, 1 catch, and a yard. Sterling Shepard, he had the touchdown with the route, with the end route. And had Patrick Surtain basically following him, and he beat him. And I watched that play. When I got home, I rewinded it just to see how it was ran. It was beautiful. But in that game, 9 targets, 7 catches, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown. Darius Slayton, 7 targets, 3 catches, 65 yards. Kenny Galladay, 6 targets, 4 catches, 64 yards. Kyle Rudolph was he only had 5 targets, 2 catches, 8 yards. Kadarius Toney was a surprise. 2 targets, 2 receptions, minus 2 yards. So hopefully they'll get him in the fold a little bit tonight. Maybe they take some pages out of the Chargers book and see how they completed on those third downs against Washington last week. I think they were 14 and 19. That's big. So if Daniel Jones can capitalize on his targets, not turn the ball over, and especially get the Washington football team vulnerable on third downs, I think that they have a chance to win this game. I got it pretty close. But defensively, Logan Ryan was the leader in charge, 10 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Blake Martinez, 9 total tackles. James Bradbury, 7 total tackles. Reggie Ragland, linebacker, also had 7 total tackles. Or Dory Jackson had 5 tackles. He was targeted 6 times, had 3 completions on him, and that was for a 50% completion percentage. So I think he might be going up against Terry McLaurin. You might be following him around for the night. So we'll see how that matchup goes. That seems to be a pretty interesting matchup. Azeez Ojulari, he had 3 tackles, a sack, and 2 pressures. And Leonard Floyd had 3 sacks and 2 pressures as well. So Leonard Floyd, he played pretty he played a pretty big game last week against Denver. In that game, according to PFF, he had a 77 player rating. Dexter Lawrence had a 74. So with those two in the middle, and plus with Ojulari, the young pass rusher on the outside, man, I feel for Washington's interior offensive line. Eric Flowers had a 61 rating. Chase Rulier had a 62 and Brandon Sheriff had a 62. They allowed 7 pressures and 4 blitz last week. And the Giants committed 9 pressures versus Denver. So that seems to be a pretty interesting matchup. I'm paying attention to that interior offensive line for Washington versus the defenders on the Giants side. Also looking at the James Bradbury matchup and seeing whether he follows Terry McLaurin or De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown was limited last week. Also, I don't think he didn't have too many catches. I don't even have it in front of me, but that seems to be a very interesting matchup for the football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he went out with the hip injury last week. He was 3 for 6. He got sacked one time. He only threw for 13 yards. Taylor Heineke, 11 for 15, 122 yards. Completed 73% of his passes. He also had 3 carries, 17 yards. Taylor Heineke, when not saying that he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I can't say when he's in as a signal caller, the offense does tend to move versus any other quarterback, whether that was Alex Smith last year and then Taylor Heineke came in, and even with Ryan Fitzpatrick, like he was on a couple of drives and he couldn't really move the ball, but Heineke got in and just it seemed like they were just going up the field. Granted, the fact that they still had drives where they couldn't get anything off, but it just seems like that offense kind of tends to go along when he's in. He can escape the pocket pretty fast. I like Taylor Heineke, and hopefully he does well tonight. Antonio Gibson had 2 fumbles. He lost 1, 20 carries, 90 yards. He also had 5 targets, 3 catches, 18 yards. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 4 targets, 62 yards. Logan Thomas, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. He and maybe Logan Ryan will go at it tonight. I see that as a nice little matchup right there. Whether that be him or whether that be Xavier McKinney, it seems to be a very interesting matchup. Adam Humphries, 2 targets, 2 catches, 10 yards. Cam Sims, 1 target, 1 reception, and 17 yards. You even got DeAndre Carter, who was over with the Texans this past training camp. In the punt returns, he had 2 returns, 22 yards. Kick returns, he was 3 returns for 65 yards. So, and watching him in those returns, he's pretty quick. He kind of runs hard. So, I wouldn't be surprised if I see a special team touchdown or a big special teams play tonight. Defensively, Cole Holcomb led all tackles with 11 total tackles. Bobby McCain had 10 total tackles. John Bostic had 7 total tackles. Kendall Fuller had 5 total tackles. William Jackson had 4 tackles and an interception. And William Jackson played pretty well defending against Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. He did a very awesome job. I think he was still like 4 of 5 targets, or he was targeted 4 times and completed against 3 times. So, but still a good effort as far as coverage. Benjamin St. Juste had a rough game. Justin Herbert was kind of picking on him. 4 tackles, not kind of, but he was picking on him. 4 tackles. Hopefully he'll learn that and take advantage of a Daniel Jones led offense. Montez Sweat, as I said earlier, he had 4 tackles, 1 forced fumbles, and a sack. Deron Payne had 4 total tackles. Jonathan Allen had a sack, 2 pressures, 3 total tackles. So with the football team, I apologize. They had 8 penalties, 57 yards committed, and hopefully they'll cut that down today. Offensively, in the past, they ranked 32nd at 133 yards. Like, what else did you expect? And defensively, they were ranked 28th, giving up 334 yards, thanks to Justin Herbert carving them up. In the run game, they were ranked 12th on offensively, 126 yards. Defensively, they ranked 14th, only giving up 90 yards. So that's pretty good. On third downs, they ranked 24th. They're 3 for 10. And defensively, they ranked 32nd. As I said earlier, Justin Herbert was killing them, 14 of 19, man. That is dangerous. In the red zone, they ranked 19th, had a 1 of 2 opportunities, and defensively, 2 of 6 opportunities, so they ranked 7th. That's pretty good, man. The matchups that I'm looking at, William Jackson potentially taking on Kenny Galladay or Darius Slayton, Kendall Fuller going against whether Kenny Galladay or Darius Slayton. Sterling Shepard's also in that mix. Another matchup I'm also looking at from Washington side, Montez Sweat, who had a 79 PFF grade. Jonathan Allen had a 76. Deron Payne had a 77. Chase Young had a 68. That defensive line going against that weak offensive line, and Andrew Thomas, who had a 68 overall grade, and Nate Solder, who had a 63 grade, and Nick Gates, who had a 66 grade. So that's something to watch also. But I'm going to go with the Washington football team tonight. 24-20, I do believe that was my score. The football team is favored by 3.5 points. So hopefully this game can go out the way I want to. And whichever route that it goes, hopefully it will be a good game. I will be tuned in. This is Larry Patterson for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. Until then, enjoy the game.